us the hope to rebuild and reclaim the world we lost.
Hey guys, welcome to a new movie review. Today, if you were able to recognize that short line of dialogue, that was Gary Oldman, and this is for his latest film, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is a sequel to the 2011 hit, which was the reboot of the Planet of the Apes franchise. And so this, this is a sequel to that. And Matt Reeves, who did the remake of Let the Right One In, for that his version that was called Let Me In, and he also directed Cloverfield for any of those who saw that. So he basically had the directing duty this time. Rupert Wyatt did not do the directing job this time. And so for this sequel, you guys, basically it's several years after the first film. And when I say first film, I mean the 2011 reboot. And the human race is basically running low on resources. There's not a lot of people left, and at this point in time, the humans and the apes have dedicated certain forms of land to themselves. So the apes have a certain portion of the land, the humans have the other. And so basically, because the humans are running low on resources, they're running low on food, running low on water, they need power, they need lights, they need, things that will keep them around longer and to be able to basically live in this world still, as far as they know. So basically, there is a dam that is closer to the apes' land more so than theirs. And so they got to go in there, get the power back on, be able to restore power. There's this like abandoned gas station that's even shown in the trailer. If you've seen the trailer for this movie, they find this gas station. They can use that. They can restore power to it. Be able to potentially communicate with others on a radio system. See if there's other survivors. But in order for all this to be accomplished, they actually have to go into the lands of that the apes have on Earth at this point, and be able to get in and out of there right away and not bother the apes too much. The apes obviously don't like this. They think that humans are trying to attack them again. And so there's kind of this unsteady balance of trust between the humans and the apes. The apes don't trust the fact that these people are trying to build this dam or start it up again. They think they're using this as an advantage to stay alive and to potentially kill the apes. The apes know that the humans have weapons still and things like that. So there's this unsteady balance of trust. There's certain apes that want to kill off the humans. Certain apes, like Caesar, for example, who's the lead ape of the movie, played by Andy Serkis. He trusts the humans. He once knew a good human, played by James Franco in the previous movie, and so he's kind of willing to give them a chance. He's like let them do what they need to do. If they're not out of here, obviously we'll kick them out of here. So after a while, the humans need more time to restart this dam, and there's basically this really unsteady balance of trust, and over a course of a series of events, where the trust really gets out of whack. Neither side trusts each other anymore. A war breaks out, and it gets really crazy on Earth, which basically is now the Planet of the Apes at this point. So I really enjoyed Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, you guys. It definitely was. I'll come out and say it right away. It's definitely the darkest Planet of the Apes film. Very dark, very violent. Not a lot of blood, I would say, but like it's just very dark. It's not a very it's probably the least G-rated Planet of the Apes film we've had so far. It's just very dark, has a lot of dark themes to it, a lot of creepy looking imagery in some scenes. But yeah, it's for positives and negatives of Planet of the Apes, you guys. The film had some masterful visual effects. I mean, the apes really look like apes in here. You almost kind of have to remind yourself that this is motion capture work, that these are people within these green suits where they had to go in on a computer and apply CGI to these suits. So very masterful visual effects. Whatever Matt Reeves did to improve upon the visual effects from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, he really did a terrific job here with all that. This film also dedicates tons of time for both storyline and action scenes. I love when a film does this. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes definitely did this, where they dedicated enough time for the storyline, the essential storyline, really, and action scenes that really kind of add to the enjoyment of the movie. They're not just there to be to make this an action movie. They actually both things have a reason for being there. We need the storyline and we need good action scenes to kind of accompany that good storyline, and the both blend very well together for the movie. The film also has a great sense of human and ape perspectives on the course of events that happen in the movie. Like when an ape sees a weapon, what do they do? When a human sees a weapon, what do they do? Humans, they know the concept of you can have a weapon, doesn't mean you're going to use it against them, but you know that they have a weapon in case, a war broke out, you know not to go attack that person because you know what the weapon they have. With apes, they see a weapon, they think you're going to use that weapon right the second they see it. The film really plays off of those themes a lot. And once again, the trailer kind of hints towards that, doesn't give it away, but it really it has a really good example of how humans and apes have these perspectives on these things. Like I said, there's things that humans think about, a perspective that they have, and there's this perspective that apes have on these issues as well. I also love the apocalyptic setting that Matt Reeves chose for this movie. It definitely was in the vein of the very first Planet of the Apes film with Charlton Heston. I just love the look of it. You can definitely tell that it's been several years since Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and you can definitely tell that apes kind of wrecked all this stuff. They put it in ruins. They really are making the land their own, and the humans are just kind of surviving off what they can. So Matt Reeves once again did a very good job making this set of this movie look really apocalyptic, and I'm sure by whenever the next film comes out for Planet of the Apes, it'll basically be completely gone, or it'll be more ruin-like. To the point where we're basically watching the original Planet of the Apes at that point. I also like how the film sets the stage for part three. It has enough closure for a lot of its ideas, but it keeps just enough of them up. So in case the third film wants to play off of ideas that didn't have complete closure by the end of this movie, that they can play off of those things by the third one. Um, there's certain human characters, specifically, I guess specifically one of them, I think could be used for part three. I'm not gonna completely lay all my cards on the table quite yet, but I think there's a character in this movie who has just enough closure where if they want to bring him back for the next one, they can. But at the same time, they don't have to, so it's one of those kind of things. But I like how they set the stage for part three, but at the same time added closure to this story, so it felt like a contained story by itself. Um, for the negatives of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, There's a character named Koba in this. He's actually getting a lot of praise by a lot of people right now. He's one of the villainous apes of the movie. I feel like, though he was a great villainous character, that whoever played him and did the motion capture work for this character did a perfect job. But I felt like that the character of Koba himself was strictly there just to add more conflict to the movie, in my opinion. His motivations were a little one dimensional to me. I understood where his character was coming from, but after a while, it just felt very one dimensional. We have to have this character in here, or else there won't be enough conflict. At least to me, it felt that way. There's some action movie cliches in this as well. I'm really sick of the whole horse running through the fire kind of thing, and the person's kind of going like this. Lone Ranger did this last year. There's a couple of other action films that were not the greatest of them all, but luckily Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is better than those films. But I think that just that whole cliche of we have all this fire on the ground, we got to have a horse run through it kind of thing. I think Mask of Zorro did that at one point too. I think it's getting to the point where it's a little cliche now. And there's some other things that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes did too, where it's just like, okay, well, that movie used that already and all that kind of stuff. So I also would have liked to see more of a proper reason for why the James Franco character from 2011 didn't come back for this one. It is introduced right away, and if you saw the end credits of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, you'll know that basically this huge flu-like symptom went around the earth and it kind of killed off a lot of people. Um, though they make that point again right away in this movie, they don't specifically say, or they don't, or Caesar, or, all these characters that would have known that character from the 2011 film, none of them really officially say that he died from that illness as well. So we don't know if he disappeared, or if he died, or if he went to hiding, or are they saving him for part three? So I would have liked to have seen, though that we see like this archive footage of the James Franco character, we really don't get any type of explanation as to what exactly happened to him after Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And quite personally, I would have liked to have seen that explored a little bit because for me, it felt like either they couldn't afford to bring James Franco back, or he didn't want to come back, or they didn't know how to successfully incorporate him without giving him a big enough role. At least to me, it came off that way. And to me, there's also some overly unlikable characters in this too. Specifically, this one human character where you just really wanted him to just not be a part of this whole thing with starting up the dam and everything. He really just he almost kind of ruined it for the whole group in a way. And I don't know. To me, it just him and there's a few ape characters too. It's like really you gotta think that way, and it's just I don't know. Over a while, it's hard to connect to the film at some points just because some of these characters do things where you're just like, please, come on, just don't do that. Just some really dumb things that some characters do in this movie. But overall, besides all those little nitpicks I was just talking about, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes really is a well done film. I do think it's actually one of the better Planet of the Apes films we've gotten so far. A little bit better than Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And I think it's actually a lot better than some of the older ones. So very, very well done film. I'm actually giving Dawn of the Planet of the Apes a 9 out of 10. I really do think it's a really well done movie. It's visually masterful, great storyline, great action scenes. Love the setting, love the perspectives of the humans and the apes. We get just enough setup for part three if some of these ideas want to be continued in part three. But like I said, the existence of Koba was not very good to me. I would have liked to see more dimension to that character. A little too many cliches. More explanation as to why James Franco wasn't in this. And I would have liked to have seen a storyline that involved more likable characters. There was plenty of them in this movie, just when they were unlikable, they were really unlikable. And I guess that really bothered me. So, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, 9 out of 10 for me. Really well done film. If you love Planet of the Apes, please see this movie. It's really, really well done. And I will see you guys here for the next movie review.